Hey guys, I know I haven't made a video in a long time. I'm sorry, my laptop is broken. I have a new laptop coming in some amount of weeks. Apple doesn't know what's going on right now. They don't have very many things in stock. And I ordered one that specifically has the most memory possible because I run out of memory so quickly. So that's coming sometime at the end of the month. I don't know, it gave like a really big gap. But I will start posting videos daily once it comes. Today we are doing my first YouTube response video. I've been wondering lately if I am going to ever do response videos because I feel like I am the only person who is vegan and sort of an activist and doesn't do response videos. I don't like doing them on TikTok because there's so much left to interpretation because you can only make videos that are, let's be realistic, 15 seconds long or else people are just gonna scroll. And even when you do that, people don't watch the whole video before commenting. And it just becomes this battle between followers. Nobody listens to what people actually say. It's just a battle of who supports who, no matter what they say. But someone commented on my posts and said, this lady did a video about you called The Worst Mom on YouTube. So we're gonna watch it and we are going to respond to it. Let's get into it. Bear with me because I don't have one of those fancy green screens. This is my first time doing a YouTube video like this, so I don't know, I'm just gonna do it on my phone. This is the video. It is literally called The Worst Mom. Let's just start with the title, The Worst Mom. People always accuse crunchy moms of hating every mom who doesn't do things their way, but it's the opposite. I would never call someone a bad mom. I don't care what they're doing. People constantly ask me to make a response video about that one lady who claims to be feeding her newborn honey, Summer Walker, and I will not do it. I will not shame a mom online. Obviously, I'm vegan. I would never give my baby honey. I would hope that people don't give anything that isn't vegan to their children, period. But I'm also not going to make videos shaming them. That's just wildly inappropriate. It is exploiting a mother and it doesn't solve the problem. Shaming someone publicly is not going to benefit the child or the mom or the family in any way, and it's going to do the opposite because once something is on the internet, it's not going to get off of the internet. It is a trend to publicly shame this woman. And let's say that she dies suddenly and her kid grows up and lives on, and then he just sees all this crap people have posted bashing her publicly, bashing his mom publicly. That's not okay. I would never call someone a bad mom. I am very vocal about things that I would do to my baby and would not do, like with formula, for example, but I also don't think that people who use formula are bad moms, and I would never say that. I have very strong, well-researched views about raising children, but I have a strong belief that children belong to their parents, not to other people who would raise them better, or the government, or people who want to take them. I think that children belong to their parents, and if I could decide that all of the formula kids could be placed with other people who wouldn't give them formula, I would not do that. Moms are the right moms for their babies. You are the best mom for your baby. There is nothing comparable to that bond that babies have with their mothers. There is little to nothing worth breaking that. But it seems people who aren't crunchy don't believe this at all. And they think that people who don't parent the way that they do are bad moms. The worst TikTok mom. Imagine if I called anyone the worst mom. People would burn me at the stake. This lady is much older than me. I don't know how old she is, and I don't want to guess because if I guess wrong, I will feel bad because Women will intentionally misguess another woman's age to offend the woman, and I don't like that. I don't want to do that because that makes women as a whole look bad. Let's try to see if we can find how old she is so that I don't have to guess. Okay, she's 33, and I'm glad that I looked that up. So she's 11 years older than me. So this woman is 33 years old, and she made a hateful response video to a mom over a decade younger than her. That's predatory. That's really inappropriate. I won't be doing that when I'm 33. I can tell you that. She just said she's too old for TikTok. No, you are not too old for TikTok, but you are too old to be making hateful response videos to young moms.
TikTok account run by a woman named Alice, showcasing, I guess, her child Fern, her baby Fern. Her bio just states autistic, vegan, holistic mother, but it's so much more than that. One of the big issues with Alice is that she is strongly anti-vax and promotes a lot of misinformation.
Whoa. Okay, let's just talk about that word. Do not use the word misinformation. Misinformation implies that you think other people are too stupid to interpret that information and make their own informed choices. Do you believe in censorship? Do you want to live in some dystopian society where the government thinks that we are too stupid to make our own choices, so they limit what we can talk about? Don't use that word. If it is false information, call it that. Say false information. Let's continue.
Can't you see it in his eyes? And his little chubby rolls? One day I was thinking about how the $13 trillion pharmaceutical industry just isn't large enough. We aren't giving them enough.
That was from her most recent video. This is a very common kind of conspiracy theory promoted by anti-vaxxers or hesitant.
Conspiracy theory? There was nothing there. Let's see what she's calling a conspiracy theory.
I want to call them that the pharmaceutical industry develops and promotes, heavily promotes in order to make a whole lot of money. And they do sell a lot of vaccines, but this is a drop in the bucket compared to other drugs, which makes sense. For one thing, a vaccine is typically limited in terms of dose and how often people get it, right? One time, potentially, maybe 2 times at most. You've got the flu shot that you get once a year, whereas other drugs like birth control, antidepressants, you take every single day. If they really only cared about money, why would they make vaccines at all? Why would they not just focus on other drugs? Or really, why?
Well, there is a very good reason. And there is a reason that all of the billionaires are investing in them right now. It has to do with the liability and the safety testing. They are not held to the same standards as other pharmaceutical drugs. I can't say anything about that on here. It will get taken down even if it's directly from the insert. So you can read the manufacturer's inserts yourself. Google the name of the one that you want to read, followed by manufacturer's inserts. Scroll down to where it says clinical studies, and you will see what I'm talking about. And don't just do it for you know what. Also look at vitamin K. That one's very telling. Look at the clinical testing area of the vitamin K insert. So the testing and then also the liability is an issue. Look at injury court. We can't even say the word. You can't say the word unless you are talking about them positively, and that should tell you everything you need to know about them. If these things were super duper good and they didn't make anyone money, we would be allowed to talk about them. But we're not. The only context we are allowed to talk about them in is if we are making them look good. People like me are not allowed to share information directly from the CDC or directly from the manufacturer's inserts. They will just call it misinformation. I cannot say anything scientific unless it's about like food. I might do some stuff on GMOs. I'm kind of scared to post any science because of the censorship. I might just stay away from that entirely.
One time, potentially, maybe 2 times at most. You've got the that you get once a year, whereas other drugs like birth control, antidepressants, you take every single day. If they really only cared about money, why would they make at all? Why why would they not just focus on other drugs? Or really, why focus on drugs at all when it seems like you can make tons of money on alternative medicine products? Virtually no oversight, no extensive testing that is incredibly expensive, and they can be sold directly to consumers online or in your local Whole Foods or whatever. The point is, every single industry, every company...
The alternative medicine industry is really an extension of the pharmaceutical industry because people like me are not taking those things. People like me don't take alternative medicine. Alternative medicine is directed at people who come from an allopathic mindset. They aren't fully holistic. They don't believe food is medicine. They have a very stereotypical, limited perspective on health. They are coming from the mindset, oh, these drugs my allopathic doctor gave me didn't work, so let's get some alternative medicine. I don't take any supplements for my health. I don't take any of the protein powder you love so much. This girl is sort of familiar to me because of Freely. I listen to Freely when I sleep. When I'm falling asleep, so I have never seen her face before. I've just heard her username, and I remember Freely roasting her for drinking coffee and taking protein powder. I am not exactly like Freely. I am a lot like Freely though. I don't take any kind of supplements. I don't drink coffee regularly. I'm not on any medications whatsoever. I don't take allopathic pharmaceuticals. I also don't take naturopathic drugs or supplements. I don't take iron pills. I don't do any supplementing. The fact that she's digging on the level of testing required for alternative medicine shows me that she has not read the manufacturer's inserts. Because if she has read the manufacturer's inserts, she would not have said that. That's all I'm allowed to say. Because we are living in a regime where we are not allowed to talk about our choices unless our choices are ones the government likes us making.
And this can be an issue particularly for the pharmaceutical industry. Tripling the cost of life-saving medication seemingly on a whim, not great. But on the other hand, Johnson & Johnson, all of these companies making all of the money off of developing very quickly the thing that will end, the thing that has saved so many lives and will continue to save lives, that makes a lot of sense to me. I think they should be rewarded for that, and for others to know that if they do something similar down the line, they will also be rewarded. And just a side note, she's not nominated for...
I'm not saying that I don't think that they shouldn't make any money from their products, but I do think that you should be able to sue them easily if you are injured. Look up yourself how injury court works. Again, I can't say that word even. Look up how injury court works. If I say anything about it, they will call it misinformation, so look it up yourself. The way that you would sue for that kind of injury is very different from the way that you would sue an injury that you got from any other kind of pharmaceutical product. Some of this money comes from... I can't even say it. Just look it up yourself. It is an issue that it's not just the manufacturers making money, it is investors like Bill Gates. If you didn't know, Bill Gates has invested quite a bit of his dollars into those things. I am not anti-choice at all. I want people to make informed decisions. I want people to learn about the risks and benefits on both sides, and I wish so much. This would probably be my dying wish. I wish that we could openly discuss the benefits and risks on both sides. I wish that I could discuss this lady in this video and we could go back and forth and have the debate, but we can't. They've decided that we're too stupid for that. We are too stupid to look at the facts ourselves and make our own decisions unless they're the right decisions. Anyway, luckily all of this information is publicly available. It is hard to get to. You will not find it on Google because Google is censored. And if I direct you to where you can find information about this, I will poof, be gone. But it is out there, so try to find it and read it for yourself. Whenever you are thinking about doing something or not doing something, look at information on both sides. When I started learning about these things, I didn't know anything bad about them. I just knew that they weren't something that I would do personally because I had reactions myself as a child, and I didn't correlate them as reactions. I just knew that bad things happened every time my parents would take me to get those things. So I stopped getting them as soon as I turned 18, and everyone around me was getting them, and I noticed that they were a lot sicker, and it just felt very unnatural. But I didn't know that there was reasons that people need to be concerned about them until I looked it up myself. I had known that there were crazy moms who would always talk about them and everyone hated them, but I had never listened to what the crazy moms were saying. So I thought, you know what, let's hear them out. What are they saying? Why are they rioting in the streets about this? And that's when I learned that these moms are in the streets for a reason. Look it up yourself, make your own decision. I do not care what decision you make as long as it is an informed one. My body, my choice. Your body, your choice. I just glossed over this and I didn't realize it, but she called me anti-vax. I am not anti-vax. Do you even know what anti-vax means? Anti-vax means that you don't want any vaccines to exist and you don't want any vaccines to be available for anyone, and you want people who want and are informed about the risks and still want to get them to not be able to get them. You want to take away other people's choices. I am not like that at all. I am for informed consent.
She's not for, of course.
Well,
My
some
family
slander.
and I have already had every single vaccine. We are at max capacity.
But whether you agree with me or not on the issue of profiting off of or any other drugs does not matter to the core issue at hand, which is, are vaccines good or not? Are they worth it or not?
Whoa! I never said if they were good or not. That is not the debate I'm trying to have. I don't believe in good or bad when it comes to parenting choices or personal choices. It is up to the individual. It is up to the individual case for an individual. So let's say one mom has multiple kids. Each kid is a different case. And you can't just make a blanket statement like they're good or they're bad, because each person is an individual. You're going to have an individual set of risks and benefits on both sides. It also depends on where they live. There's never going to be a blanket good or bad when it comes to this particular kind of pharmaceutical. And a lot of people who are called anti do give their kids select you know what. I am not trying to take away the choice from you, but it sounds a lot like you want the choice taken away from me, which is terrifying. That is a dangerous precedent. Do you want everyone to be forcibly injected just because you choose to be injected? If I was asked if I could eliminate all of the shots, I would say no. I want people to have the choice. That's all I'm about. I literally just want people to have the choice. And that question that I responded to was about me and my personal decisions. We will never be able to answer the question, are all of them good or bad? And that's not a question we should try to answer. We should be looking at each individual one for each individual person and asking if the risks are worth the benefits. I wish that we could go back and forth and discuss the risks and the benefits, and not in a way that is intended to change people's minds, because that is not what I'm going for. I just want information to be accessible to people. And what's really scary, and I would consider this coercion, is that right now they are only allowing positive information to be shared. Information that dismisses the risks of getting them and over-exaggerates the benefit. I really hope that you agree that it should be a choice. Do you really want the government to be able to come around and inject all of us forcibly?
The evidence is clear, including for COVID, that the benefits far outweigh the risk.
Whoa.
It's one of the safest.
Okay, no, you can't say the benefits outweigh the risks as a blanket statement. The benefits might outweigh the risks for you and your children, but they do not outweigh the risks for mine. If you want to inject that stuff into your babies, that's your right. If another mom doesn't want to inject that stuff into her babies, that is also her right. I'm really crying because this is so messed up. You do not get to take away that choice from other mothers. Where there is risk, there must be choice.
Alice is also pretty anti-birth control.
Anti, again with the anti word. I'm not anti anything. I'm not anti-choice. Me choosing not to take birth control doesn't mean that I'm anti-birth control. You are so pushy with your medications. If I don't want to take your medications, you call me anti-medications. No, I just don't want them. I fully support people taking birth control or people taking any medication. I even support people having elective surgeries, like people doing plastic surgery or elective C-sections, or I don't know, if you want to take some medication that makes you fly, I don't care. That is your right. You have the right to decide, and I don't want to take that away from anyone. When you call people anti-medication just because you don't like their choice, that makes you look really bad. That makes you look like you want people to be forcibly injected with this stuff. Save the anti word for people who are actually anti. If someone is out there saying you can't take birth control because I don't like it, then yeah, call them anti. If they say I want to abolish all birth control and everyone should be forced to have babies, then yeah, call them anti-birth control. But don't call people anti-birth control just because they don't take birth control. It's very coercive. She moves on from that slide to show a video where I explained why I don't want to take birth control.
That is just a fundamental misunderstanding of nature.
A fundamental
body,
misunderstanding? My own choice for my own body is a fundamental misunderstanding? Are you saying you don't respect choice, or are you saying you don't respect choice? Why is she arguing with me on my own decision whether to take birth control or not? You have no right to tell another woman to take birth control or not.
Medicine that's man-made is often more potent, yes, but also safer because it's quality controlled and can be limited to...
Oh, honey. Oh, honey. Never take a little chunk of a scientific study like that again. Don't do that. If you are going to bring up a scientific study, show the entire thing. Was this a clinical study? Because some of the theories out there that support medications are based on mathematical algorithms, not actual, like, real world data. Sample size is important, and also you need to show us, was a placebo used and what kind of placebo was used. Sometimes they don't use saline placebos. They use one drug compared to another drug. And that's how they get away with so much. I have read tons of scientific studies in the last few years since I've been researching this stuff, and the conclusion area of studies that are intended to promote public trust in a profitable drug are always very misleading. They seem super positive because of the way that they word them, and then you look at the way the study is done and you notice some major flaws. They are preying on the fact that most people don't read the whole study. They just read a little bitty chunk, like what you just showed. That means nothing for all I know. Where did that come from? Where did that little chunk of information come from? How many people did they test this on? She has a little source posted, but it's not the full link. It just directs you to NCCIH.
Just because something doesn't exist in nature doesn't tell us anything about what does exist and whether or not that thing is helpful or harmful.
I glad that you believe that for your own body, but it's not okay to force that on other people. That's when it becomes a problem.
Most medication, it depends. There are certainly people for whom the pill does not make sense. It is dangerous for them. The benefits do not outweigh the risks. But then there are people like me for whom the benefits do outweigh the risk. This is what doctors are for, right? To help us figure out the right path for us. But for Alice, it's very simple. The pill is unnatural, and so it's dangerous.
I guess we can't make that decision for ourselves.
It causes autoimmune diseases, even infertility. So I'm going to quickly cover these one by one. In terms of cancer, again, it's complicated. The pill has a negative correlation with some types of cancer and a positive correlation with other types of cancer.
That was another little chunk of a study. Don't be shy. Show us the entire study. Show us the sample size. Show us whether a placebo was used. Show us how long the patients were monitored. Show us how old the patients were. Show us how they checked for reactions. Were these people held in a building for the entirety of the study? Or were they sent on their merry way after a couple days and then told to report any reactions? Because sometimes they'll say, we tested this drug for years and years and years, but they didn't keep everyone involved in the study in a room. They sent them on their way afterwards. And they will tell the subjects to report reactions, and reactions go underreported. It is widely known that only 1% of reactions are even reported to VAERS, which is like the biggest system. A lot of times when they release new drugs, they will get them approved by saying that we are going to continue to monitor for reactions using this system. And their systems aren't flawless. I don't understand why she is debating my use or lack of use of birth control. It's not her body. It's not her choice. I wouldn't debate her use of birth control. I don't care what she puts in her body. It doesn't affect me.
For me, the benefit of having manageable periods far outweighs any risks. But for others, that may not be the case.
My periods are extremely manageable. My periods are extremely manageable, and they became manageable after I started eating organic and eliminating toxins from my diet. Don't need any pharmaceuticals to do that for me.
The pill has been linked to lupus, but for those taking newer
another chunk of a study,
the risk is virtually non-existent.
No, don't normalize taking little chunks of studies. Show us the entire study so that people can make their own choices about the validity of the study. There's this huge misconception that everything in studies is gospel, and these studies are done perfectly, and all of the studies agree, and that is so far from the truth. If you look at any scientific database and you search whatever topic you want to read about, you will find that every study has at least slightly different results. For example, if you search exclusively breastfed mortality rate versus exclusively formula-fed mortality rate, you will find different studies. As far as I know, all of them say that formula-fed is much higher, but they all have different numbers. How much higher? Depends on the study, depends on how the study was done. And it depends on who was involved in the study, because people aren't robots and everyone has different reactions to things. Only showing little clips of the study like that makes people think that they are too stupid to evaluate the study theirself. And that is a dangerous precedent to set. If you want to believe you are too stupid to look at factors like that, that's your decision. I'm not.
There's no evidence that the pill causes infertility. This huge review and meta-analysis found no association.
According to that.
On the other hand, interestingly, this study found that the pill might actually help speed things up.
According to that study, assuming that there was no censorship, we could go back and forth on this, discussing whether it's safe or not, and you could send one study and I can send one study. They would all say slightly different things, at least slightly, but birth control isn't your choice to make for me.
Someone who thinks that none of the research can be trusted, basically.
I don't need a study funded by the people who are trying to sell me a drug to tell me that a product that stops our number one biological function, reproduction, is probably not very safe.
Anecdotally, I had no issue getting pregnant after the pill for both of my pregnancies. I stopped taking the pill, and 30 or so days later, got a positive pregnancy test. So, again, it's just an anecdote, but maybe.
I am truthfully extremely happy that you were able to conceive after taking birth control. But it's really weird that you were trying to coerce me into taking birth control. That video that I made wasn't about anyone else. It was just about my own personal reasons for not taking birth control. I don't know why you are trying to convince me to take birth control. It's kind of creepy. It feels really inappropriate, especially considering the age difference. When people share medical decisions they make for themselves, they aren't looking for you to convince them to do otherwise. Again, that's not something I would ever do to you. I would never try to talk you out of taking birth control. So I don't think you should be trying to talk young women into taking birth control. I raise your anecdotal story with anecdotal stories of my own friends who struggled to conceive after taking birth control.
Alice is also very much against infant formula.
Anti-formula. Yes, I am anti-formula for my own child, for myself. Just because I would not use formula doesn't mean that I'm against other people using formula. That's not my baby. She uses formula. Does that make her anti-breast milk? No, that'd be stupid. I don't call people anti-breast milk because they use formula. The whole anti thing is super coercive. It's really shamey. It's like you're shaming someone for not making the same exact choices that you make. Why is she so against me not liking formula for my own child? There are so many different methods of birth control. You cannot make these all good or all bad stereotypes. I had an implant when I was a teenager, and it needed to be cut out of me several days later because it made me extremely ill. This happened to a lot of my friends who make different choices for their body. One of my friends was recently hospitalized for birth control, and they just put her on a different birth control. I don't want to do that. I don't want to be experimented on and them to say, oh, oops, this one's too toxic for you, your body's rejecting it, let's put you on a different one. And that's my choice, and it's weird that you seem to not want me to have a choice.
Alice is also very much against infant formula. She says in text, I wouldn't put the ingredients in myself. Why would I do it to a helpless baby? Implying the ingredients in infant formula are somehow dangerous. So let's have a look. This is the Similac soy formula. This is what we used with both of our kids. Corn syrup solids, sugar, not dangerous, soy protein.
Oof. Well, I disagree on that. Artificial sugar is dangerous, not something I would put into my body intentionally. Obviously there might be slip-ups sometimes when shopping. It's really hard to check every single label every single time, but that is not something that I would ever put into my body intentionally.
Isolated protein, I eat it all the time in smoothie.
Yeah, I know you do, because really craps on you all the time for doing that. That is not something that I would do. It seems like we have a lot of fundamental differences in our beliefs about health and the way that man-made products serve us. I would not take any protein powder, protein isolate, that kind of stuff, any kind of supplements. I actually avoid protein. We eat way too much protein as a species in general. It doesn't really matter what kind of ingredients are in formula because there is zero breast milk in formula. Breast milk is incredible. There is absolutely nothing, nor will there ever be anything comparable to breast milk directly from the breast, from a mother to a baby that has come out of her. Nothing compares to that. Our bodies change the composition of breast milk to meet baby's current needs. Formula doesn't do that. Our breast milk contains antibodies. Don't you care about that? Don't you care about disease prevention? Since you're into those inoculations, our breast milk is there to provide immunity to certain things in the absence of inoculations to our babies. That is a whole censored topic that I'm not allowed to get into. This is a really unfair battle because I can't respond. When our babies get sick, our breast milk totally changes color. Packaged food, for the most part, like 90%-ish, most of it, is dead. It's sterilized, it's processed, it's been treated so that it will last longer and won't grow bacteria. There's nothing alive in formula. Breast milk is alive. I really am trying to avoid sterile foods for myself and absolutely for my baby. They could make the best fake breast milk ever and I would not put it in my baby. It could be some concoction that's just made out of organic rice and it's not sterilized and it claims to be better than breast milk, and I would not put it in my baby. It is embarrassing for you to try to convince me otherwise. My child is my child, and just like you have the choice to formula feed, I have the choice to breastfeed. And it's inappropriate for you to try to talk me out of it.
Oleic safflower oil, great for cooking at high temperatures.
I
More sugar and more oil, both soy and coconut. And then a couple microalgae for DHA, very cool. And micronutrients, most of which you would find in just a standard multivitamin. Then you've got some other non-essential ones like taurine, L-carnitine. Things that you can take
not
as
things
an adult,
I would put in
very
myself
common
or
in
my
the
baby.
kind of weightlifting, bodybuilding
Good for
world.
you. Good for you
Hopefully
that
one day
you want.
the D3
Good for you that you want to put that stuff in your body, but my body, my choice. I would not put that stuff in my body.
formula and other formulas will be vegan, but other than that, this is stuff that myself and others, many others, consume very regularly, even on a daily basis. And more importantly,
we know.
There is no evidence that formula is bad for babies.
That is straight up false information. Exclusively formula-fed babies have a much, much, much higher infant mortality rate than exclusively breastfed babies. There's no disputing that difference. And for you to pretend like there are no risks to your choice is scary. And to try to push that risky choice on another mom is also scary. If you are comfortable with the severe risk you are taking with infant mortality, that's your choice, but don't push it onto me. And don't spread false information to make other moms think that they're on the same level, because they are not. Breast milk and formula are not on the same level.
Follows a different set of rules, I guess. Formula is dangerous.
Yeah,
so dangerous, she thinks it should be illegal.
She didn't show the whole article where I said that formula should be illegal. If you read the article, I said that it is bad that we don't allow breast milk on the shelves, but we allow milk from other species on the store shelves. If we allowed human breast milk on the shelves, that would be so much better than formula. Here's the level of goodness. Here's the rank of things to put in your baby by how good they are. So there's breast milk, obviously, at the top. And that is breast milk directly from the breast, from the biological mother. And then next up, we have breast milk. That is directly from the breast, not from the biological mother. So someone else. That used to be really common, actually. Under that, we have pumped milk from the biological mother. Under that, we have pumped milk from a different mother. And then you have your formula and whatnot. That stuff. Pumped milk from other women is still miles better than formula. I'm pretty sure that Similac soy formula isn't actually vegan. It is mostly vegan, but it contains animal products in the added vitamins that you love so much. And so that's a whole different morality discussion. I don't think any products from animals should be sold on our human store shelves. Products from other species should not be sold on human shelves for humans to buy. That's messed up. So I don't think you should call me anti-formula, because even when people feed their babies formula, I don't think that they should have their baby taken away. I still think that the parents that the baby is born to are the best parents for the baby, pretty much no matter what they do to that baby. I mean, obviously there are exceptions, really severe exceptions that are too inappropriate to talk about on YouTube. Okay, let's get into this. There's another anti-label.
Shock of the century, I know. In answer to the question, why don't you use sunscreen on your baby, she says,
so you're killing me with the anti-labels, lady. Just because I don't use something on my own child doesn't mean that I'm anti it. I'm not stopping you from putting it on your baby.
Because I want him to live a long and healthy life. I feel silly even dignifying that with an answer.
So, she clearly hasn't seen all of my videos on that subject. The first time people ask me something, I will usually give them a serious response, and then after that, people ask me so many times that that answer is a summary of how I feel, but it was kind of said in a joking way, or like a sarcastic way. My son has never used sunscreen and probably never will. My parents put sunscreen on me as a child, and then I stopped using it after like 7 years old, I think. And I haven't felt the need for it since. I live in Arizona in the desert where it's super duper hot. I think it's gonna be like 115 degrees today. We go outside every single day. Never have used sunscreen, never have gotten burned. But I wouldn't stop someone else from using sunscreen if they wanted to. So yeah, don't call people anti who aren't anti. Because when you call someone anti when they aren't actually anti and they are not trying to take away the choice from others, it makes you look like you are trying to take away the choice from them.
Be asserted without evidence, yada yada yada. In any event, there is no evidence that sunscreen shortens your lifespan. You know what could
That's not
shorten
true.
your life-
That's not true. There's been a ton of sunscreen recalls lately. A ton.
Unprotected sun exposure.
Another little tiny bit of a study. That's just a little tiny bit of a study. That's not the whole study. I'm not a done little baby. I can read the study. If you are not going to show the entire study, don't show the study. Because if you want to believe this inferiority complex, if you want to pretend like you are too stupid to assess all of the factors that go into the study, that's fine. But don't make people assume that everyone is that way, because I'm definitely not. The way that these industries flourish is by people like you who perpetuate the stereotype that everyone other than the people with degrees are too stupid to read the whole study. The only thing our tiny little brains can comprehend is the conclusion and the title. That's it. And that's how you end up with people claiming that cigarettes are good and DDT is good, and there's a whole list. I don't know. That's how you end up with these big industries making people think that all these things are good, because these people haven't taken the time to read the studies themselves. But unfortunately for the sunscreen industry, I have read the studies myself, and for that reason, I will not be using it on myself or my child. Every study is different, so you need to read a ton of studies. You can't just read one, and you need to read a study for every ingredient in the sunscreen you plan to use. Every sunscreen is different. They all use different chemicals, or some of them are natural, but whichever one you plan on using or are thinking about using, you will look at every single ingredient and look that up, because you can't just generalize sunscreens as a whole. The formula in all of them is different, and all of these ingredients react differently, and it also matters in what situations these sunscreen ingredients are being used in. So for example, I read some studies that suggested that zinc oxide is good and prevents cancer, but in the study they only looked at instances where you only used zinc oxide, single ingredient, and you only sat out in the sun. You didn't get in the water, you didn't get into the ocean, the salt water, you didn't get into a chlorinated pool. They didn't study how those things react with each other. And the participants' ages matter, especially when you are looking at doing something on your child, because that study that I read didn't involve any babies. They tend not to involve babies in studies. They tend to not involve babies in studies due to ethical reasons, but then they recommend that babies do these things that they have not clinically tested on babies. People first started having an issue with me not using sunscreen on my son at like 5 months old, And I could not find a study where any kind of sunscreen was tested on a 5-month-old baby.
Silly even dignifying that with an answer. That which can be
It did not
asserted without
warrant an
evidence.
answer. My choices for my own baby aren't up for debate. They are well researched, despite what you think, because I'm not allowed to share that research. They are well researched. And even if they weren't, they are still my decision. And it is not your place to tell another mom what to do with her own baby. How bad would you feel if a mom chose to do something differently than what she would have done because you peer pressured her into doing that thing and then the child got cancer or died? No, everyone should be allowed to make their own choices. And that way, when something does happen, it's on them. And they don't have anyone else to blame it on.
Alice is anti-medicine in general. She doesn't believe in germ theory.
Germ theory is not the only theory out there. If you look at other
Theory.
cultures throughout history, we are one of the only cultures who believe that sickness comes from germs that get passed between people. Most of allopathic doctors' med school is based on germ theory. You read up on it, there are lots of compelling arguments against germ theory. Germ theory is kind of playing the victim. Germ theory victimizes humans. It puts us at a war with nature. It says humans are separate from nature. I personally don't like that. We are nature.
She personally doesn't like it. I think that's what a lot of this comes down to.
All of my opinions on anything I do for my son are well researched. I won't just do something because I have a gut feeling. Regrettably, I wish I was able to just act on gut feelings, but I'm not. So, I do the research. And if you actually looked up the origins of germ theory, I don't think you would agree with it. I don't think anyone in their right mind would agree with it privately. Like, publicly, obviously, you have to put on a show or else you're called anti. I don't think anyone could agree with how it first came about. Look at how they proved it. Even if a mom is choosing to do something for her own baby based on no research and just a gut feeling, it is not your place to tell her to do something differently with her own child. And definitely not someone over 10 years younger than you. That is so creepy. It's not your baby. You have your own babies. Do whatever you want with your own babies. You don't get to tell other people what to do with their own babies.
Vaccines feel scary, they feel yucky, so they're bad. Formula feels scary because it's man-made, so it's bad. There's not much to say, really, in response to it.
No, that is all I am allowed to say due to the censorship, due to people like you who call everything that doesn't align with your agenda misinformation.
Don't like something. It's like arguing with someone who says, I personally don't like vanilla ice cream. Well,
Why would you argue with someone who says they don't like vanilla ice cream? Why are you trying to get me to eat your vanilla ice cream? I don't want it, and that's fine. Why don't you respect my decision not to eat vanilla ice cream? I respect yours. I respect your decision to eat vanilla ice cream. Why are you trying to shove vanilla ice cream down my throat? This is going to come as a shocker to a lot of people, but when people post things on the internet, they aren't always looking for a debate, especially when they are talking about choices that they make for their own bodies and their own babies. I'm not looking for you to debate me. I'm also not looking to change anyone's mind. Those videos were responses to questions people asked me about choices that I make for myself.
that's sure, you can feel that way. What do you say?
You don't say anything. You don't say anything. That's my own personal choice.
He wants about germs, but it doesn't mean that they don't exist. It's just really hard to
I never said they don't exist.
Someone who thinks that all of the educated people are wrong about vaccines.
All of the educated people? Are you saying that you don't consider people without PhDs educated people? You think that all of the people with PhDs should be able to make decisions for us? No. No, no, no. That is cult-like and that is dangerous. And all of the people with PhDs don't agree with each other. They don't. And it only seems like they agree with each other because they censor all the people who don't agree. There are so many people with PhDs, the educated people who are here to save us, as you would put it, who have raised the alarm about All of these things that I believe, and they have committed suicide. Holistic doctors commit suicide constantly. They commit murder-suicides, and a lot of the times it involves their children as well. And they leave weird notes about how they regret writing exemptions for people. They are also censored online, and they are intimidated by pharmaceutical companies. Look up Brandy Vaughn. I'm not saying that her death was unnatural, but the stalking and intimidation and people breaking into her house and leaving a duck statue in her backyard and telling her she's a sitting duck if she keeps talking about pharmaceuticals. It is incredibly risky for anyone to raise awareness about these things, and for you to bash people who are taking such a major risk is really wrong.
Mom lets her baby eat sand and lick dirty shopping carts to boost his immune system. Practice what you preach.
Why I let
I do.
my exclusively breastfeed.
I do. I have a video of me sucking rocks with my son on my TikTok if you want to scroll back that far. I know I have a lot of videos.
He eats sticks, rocks, sand, dirt, and unsanitized shopping carts. In the last couple hundred years, the allopathic industry has taken the world by storm. This did not happen by accident. It happened after a series of billion-dollar campaigns intended to shift the public's perspective on health. I do not fear bacteria. In fact, I welcome it. I trust nature in my baby. It is not a coincidence babies have this instinct while they are breastfeeding.
Choking to death on a rock is natural too, I guess. Seriously, if anyone ever asks you,
My child
coming
is
up
supervised
first,
the
what's
entire
that?
time.
Just show them this video. I think it perfectly encapsulates Alice and her channel and what she believes.
Yeah.
I trust
Yeah, that's
nature, allopathic industry, billions of dollars, campaigns, eating sand. And yes, the baby is eating sand in the video, which is so funny because my 2.5-year-old was eating sand just like a week
Your
ago.
kids do it
Thought we were
too.
just like a week ago.
Yes,
Thought
I
we were
stopped
past
them.
the eating.
So that means that you weren't watching them the whole time, I'm assuming? I watched my child the whole time when he sucks on rocks, so he's definitely not going to choke on them. He gets big rocks to suck on, not little ones.
Weird, random, gross things, but apparently not. In any event, there's a bunch of other stuff. She's anti-GMOs, of course.
I really did not want to cook tonight and just go to a restaurant instead, but the GMOs just aren't worth it.
She has some really interesting thoughts on bed sharing, calling cribs baby jails, talking about
Well,
C-sections.
okay, what do cribs look like if not jails? They are little baby jails. They are. You can't look at a picture of a jail and look at a picture of a crib and tell me they don't look the same. A crib is a miniature jail. It is intended to trap the child inside so that the child cannot get out.
You know, I'm sure there's lots of other crazy, in addition to that I missed.
Whoa.
She has a lot of content, a lot of TikToks. There's only so much I could handle, especially given that it is TikTok. I don't get the music, and then there's dancing sometimes, and it rarely ever goes with the topic. Sometimes it does, and it's like, oh, that's cool. They're talking about something and it relates to the lyrics. Okay, cool. But like, she has a video where she's talking about bed sharing and SIDS, and then she's lip syncing to Weezer. What?
Okay.
I'm just confused. Does that have anything to do with anything, or just
No, it's
I
not
don't-
supposed to. That's
Point
TikTok.
is, according to
And
one
that's
article,
what happens when you are 33 years old and picking on a 22-year-old. There's a generational gap there. You don't understand everything that the 22-year-old is doing. We live in different times. Stop calling women crazy. It's not even about this particular argument, but as a whole. Stop calling women crazy. You are doing womankind. You're doing all of womankind a disservice when you refer to women as crazy. This is a big stereotype that is pushed on women. If you disagree with something that someone says, say that you disagree with it. When they can't call you stupid, they call you crazy. She can't think of a response to my own decisions, and she really shouldn't have a response to my own decisions. So she uses a character insult. She is attacking my character just because I don't make the same decisions that she does.
According to one article I read, she's only 22, and she does come across as very young, very arrogant. She's very confident, very...
You are policing what I put into my own body and my children's body and the choices that I make for our lives and calling me the worst mom, and I'm the arrogant one?
Very assertive in what she says, even though she provides no evidence for it.
Evidence? I don't need to give you evidence for the choices I make. I'm not here to defend my choices to you. She is literally a mom shamer. She wants me to make the choices that she makes for her own baby. And apparently, everyone who doesn't make the choices that she makes is crazy, arrogant, and the worst mother. Sounds like a whole lot of projection to me.
Screen is dangerous and will shorten my baby's lifespan. Anyway, moving on.
Not what I said.
She hasn't reached that level of maturity.
You haven't reached a level of maturity. You are on here making videos about 22-year-olds and how they should parent the way that you do when they have not asked you for advice.
Allows us to go, yeah, I'm not the smartest person in the world. I actually don't know a lot of things. And you know, the people who have studied medicine, immunology, what have you, actually know way more about their field.
Oh, you're so right. You're so right, Mommy. Only daddy government can make decisions for us. Only daddy doctors. Only daddy uncensored doctors can make choices for us. All of the doctors who have been suppressed, they don't exist in our minds. Doctors all have one collective infallible opinion, and we should listen to it. We shouldn't get a choice. We should all have to do what daddy singular doctor says. Really sounds like you don't want other people to have a choice if their choice is different from yours.
Hopefully she will outgrow this. Having this...
Outgrow having my own opinion on what to put in my own child. Outgrow making a decision that is different from hers. Honey, people don't all have to make the same choices as you. My baby is not your baby. You don't get to tell other moms what to do. You can make your own videos, just like I do, about what you do, but you don't get to make other videos about what other moms do.
She's got almost 500,000 followers. I'm sure she will continue to grow until people get bored of it. You know, I think for a lot of people it's like oh, look, what other crazy thing is she gonna say?
She's just jealous that I am capable of creating my own content and don't need to bully people half my age to make content.
You know, but I think that could make it harder for her to move away from it, because now this is a big thing for her, right? She has all these followers. Probably gonna make it harder for her to admit that she's been wrong and to...
Ew. I'm wrong. I'm crazy. I am the worst mother. And I'm anti everything. She is 33 and her job is to bully young people publicly online for money. When I was a kid, I did not see eye to eye with the other kids. We tolerated each other, but we didn't agree. And I thought maybe they will just grow up eventually and then we will see eye to eye. But the kids never grow up. They just get older physically and don't get older mentally. They stay stuck in whatever other people have told them. They don't look into things for themselves, because they just trust everyone else. So if you are a young person, do not let older people intimidate you or bully you into thinking that they are smarter than you or they know more than you. They will try to intimidate you with your fear of the unknown by saying, well, I've been here longer than you, so there's no way you could possibly be right if you believe differently than I believe. But they're not seasoned, they're withered. And anyone who is older than you and bullying you is not even at the same level as their peers. Because if they were respected by other people their age, they wouldn't be bullying people younger than them. I'm 10 years younger than her, and you don't see me bullying people, even when people ask me to repeatedly. I don't make videos to shame them because I can think of my own content. I don't need to exploit other moms for views. They are jealous of your youth. They choose the road with the least resistance. They don't want to do their own research and read things themselves because they're scared that they're going to see something they don't want to see, and that's going to ruin everything they believe in. And then they're going to be the outcast. They know that if they actually read the body of the study, then they are going to see things that they can't unsee. that would warrant morally a response, they would then have a moral duty to share it with the world, like I do. And they don't want to do that. They don't want to be that person. They don't want to put themselves at risk. They don't want to put their families at risk. It's dangerous. If I woke up one day and I decided I'm going to stop being truthful with myself and instead care about followers and money, everyone would accept me. I would finally be accepted into the mom community. It would go viral. Crunchy mom becomes regular mom. Or crunchy mom regrets everything. Crunchy mom admits she was just uninformed. People would love that. I gain followers for my positive, gentle parenting videos, and then I lose followers and get doxxed for my opinions. People never know what to expect. I post a gentle parenting video, it gains me tons of followers, and then I post a video that people don't like and that makes people feel guilty. And then tons of people unfollow me and dox me. It means way less money for me because people don't want to collab with me because I'm controversial. Believe it or not, I have more content than just controversial stuff. And those videos go just as viral. If you scroll way back and then watch my dumpster diving videos, those went super viral compared to other videos posted at that time. And that was when I first made an account, so I can only imagine how viral they would go now. Life would be so easy for me if I just became the normal parent and made everyone's feelings feel good. I wouldn't get death threats from nurses who don't like me speaking up. I have been doxxed by healthcare workers. Not kidding. It was posted on their public profiles. That's how much they don't want their victims to know that they have choices. They don't want us to actually read the science because they know that if people were truly informed, rates would go down.
But yeah, a lot of you asked for me to talk about this and seem very worried. I'm a lot less worried about stuff like this.
No,
because it's just
you
so
are
over the
extremely
top.
worried.
The baby jails comment,
Over the top?
the eating sand stuff, I think...
You said that your kid was eating sand too. You're the one who's just scared of it. Cribs do look like baby jails.
And they even serve the same function as adult jails. It's to keep the prisoner inside.
Most people will see something like that and just, nope, right out of there. I suspect the stuff that has more influence...
That's not true. The reason people get so angry about it is because they know it's true and they've never thought about it before. If they automatically dismissed it, people wouldn't get as angry as they do. People are angry because it's true and they don't want to think about it and they don't want other people to talk about it.
The smaller stuff, the more insidious stuff, the stuff that's coming from like normal people, right? It's someone you trust sharing a meme on Facebook about causing infertility or something like that. I think that's the shit that sticks with people, but it's also the stuff that is probably easier to change. If you read about doctors who deal with hesitancy and are trying to encourage their patients to get
Whoa. Doctors who are trying to coerce their patient to choose any outcome is not okay. They should present information on both sides and let the parents decide. Favoring one option and presenting that option like it's the only option is coercion.
Often talk about how most people are not anti in the way that like Alice is. It's not part of their identity.
Nobody is anti.
Have you heard anyone say that people should not be allowed to get vaccinated? These anti-vax people don't exist. That is a conspiracy theory. And you should be extremely concerned about the lengths that they go to enforce this conspiracy theory and make people think that there's people out there who are trying to take away vaccines from people who want them. Those people don't exist. What we want is informed choice. We want the ability to choose what goes in our bodies and our babies' bodies. We want to be allowed to talk about risks on both sides. We want to be allowed to post science on both sides. Right now, we are not allowed to. I've been on social media for about a year. I am one of the only people like me left because everyone else posted science from the CDC that they didn't like. And their accounts got deleted. Because they don't want people to make an informed choice. They want people to make the choice they want them to make. If I die and people are still not allowed to discuss the risks and post science, I will feel like I have failed. That is not the life that I want for my child. That is not the world I want him to live in. This dystopian society where we can't make a choice for ourselves, where the only people who are qualified to have an opinion on it are the people who make money when we choose to get it. When I first made a TikTok, I posted one video of just the vitamin K insert, just the manufacturer's insert that is available on the CDC. And the video got taken down with no commentary, by the way. The video got removed for misinformation. I appealed it. It did not get reinstated. But then a nurse can post the exact same manufacturer's insert and tell people, don't worry, don't read this insert. You are too stupid to understand what is in there and make that decision for your child. You're too stupid. Go ask your doctor about it. Don't read it. And that video stays up. But not mine. We are not allowed to post science. And that should be concerning to everyone.
Again, it's like they read one or two things somewhere that's
one or two things. One or two. Lady, you have read one or two things. You think you're too stupid to read the whole thing. So you just read the conclusion. You just read the title and the conclusion. And you listen to your doctor. The one who gets paid to put that stuff into you and your kids. And you don't do your own research. I know you have not read the research yourself, or you would not be saying these things.
They're not getting the vaccine, or they're delaying the for their kids. And so these doctors say that often just having a short conversation with people, an honest conversation, treating them respectfully, right? Not as you're this evil anti something, but just having a conversation and
you know, like you did? Like you just called me anti everything? You know, you just did the opposite of what you think doctors should do to people who don't want those things.
Those fears and explaining why they're unfounded, but they understand why they would be.
They are not unfounded. They're not. And it's not your choice to make for other people.
If this video was about you and the choices that you make for your own baby, and you said you think that those claims are unfounded, that would be your right. But to look at my choices and say that they are unfounded is not okay. You have no idea. Tell me, go ahead, tell me, how long was vitamin K clinically tested for? How long was Hep B clinically tested for against a saline placebo? You should know, right? Since you put that stuff in your babies and you want other moms to do that too. How long? We're all waiting. I guarantee she has no clue.
And stuff like that is enough to change people's minds and to make them realize, oh, okay.
No, that is not enough to change well-researched people's minds. What that is enough to do, unfortunately, is coerce them sometimes. Some of them aren't aware of their rights. The doctor doesn't tell them, hey, it's okay if you say no. I will stop pestering you about this. No. A lot of the times the doctor will continue to ask, let's do this, and he'll just tell you the benefits, not the risks. And then they'll say, oh, you can't come to this practice if you don't, and I'm gonna call CPS on you if you don't. And because these women are uninformed, they just give in. They don't say, hey, it's okay, it's your kid, it's your choice, you're allowed to say no. Let's get you set up with a different pediatrician. No, they keep pressuring them. They keep making it seem like the only option they have is to put that stuff in their kids. That is coercion.
Enough to change people's minds and to make them realize, oh, okay, maybe the meme on Facebook is not a good source of information.
On Facebook? We do not get our information from Facebook. Facebook is censored. If you go onto Facebook, you will get tons of ads telling you to get. They censor science. I'm scared to even post this on YouTube. I had one comment. It was just a list of peer-reviewed scientific studies they didn't like, and they removed it from Facebook. There was no commentary. It was just a list of science, peer-reviewed, that they did not like. Facebook is incredibly censored. We get our information from the CDC, the same studies you post but don't read, the The same studies, you only read the conclusion and don't read the parts that actually matter. We get our information from the manufacturer's inserts.
Hilda in Michigan doesn't know what the fuck she's talking about.
They thrive on making us think we have no options besides to do those things. And that's why so many people call me dangerous, because they don't want their victims to know they have options. They want every mom to make the same choices that they make so that they don't have to feel guilty. Because people like you clearly cannot stand moms who choose differently.
Still love her. She can still be my Aunt Tilda from Michigan. I just don't get medical advice.
None of my family believes the same things I do. Quite the opposite, actually.
A little positive note. But I hope you did enjoy this. I hope this was somewhat...
Yeah, great mom shaming. Good job. Yeah, tell other people what to do with their babies. Don't focus on your own baby. Focus on other people's babies. She has that many people supporting her to mom shame?
To recap, she called me wrong, crazy, uneducated, and the worst mom. And despite you saying all those things to me, oh, and she called me anti. Despite you calling me all those things, I'm not going to do the same thing to you. I'm not going to call you a bad mom even though you are 30, 33 and bullying other moms who choose differently than you and saying all these horrible things to them. I'm not going to call you a bad mom for giving your baby formula just because I wouldn't give my baby formula. I'm not going to call you anti everything that I do just because you don't do it yourself. I hope that people can watch this and start catching on to what is going on and the suppression of choices. I don't even know what to say. No baby should have to die because their parents weren't given the information that they needed to make an informed decision. I don't want your side of the argument to be suppressed, and it's scary that you want my side to be suppressed. People can't make an informed choice if they are not presented with risks on both sides.